Ave Maria. Those of you who read Mary Victrix, my blog, know that sometimes I blog about the Knights Templar. I do that because they were both monks and knights, that is, men of prayer and men of action, and that exemplifies the ideals of Marian Chivalry, which is really what Mary Victrix is all about. But you also know that a year or two ago I wrote about the discovery of the Shinon Parchment, which became a sort of sensational news story about the Knights Templar. A scholar, a historian that has access to the Vatican archives by the name of Barbara Frale discovered something called the Shinon Parchment, which was a document from 1308 which um, recorded the trial of the Templars that took place under the church at that time, and the document had been lost and nobody was really sure what exactly had happened, but finally they had documentation, and the documentation revealed that the Templars had been absolved of all the charges against them, and that in 1312, when they were suppressed, they were really in good standing, and that it was really just a political move to destroy the order. So at that time, a lot of these Freemasonic or otherwise Gnostic type groups were claiming that the church had finally come clean, and that their order was being exonerated. But of course, you know, the Templars ceased to exist in 1312, and there's no such thing really as a historically uh, valid descendant of the Knights Templars. It just don't exist. It's just these people that are pretending to be Knights Templars and claiming that somehow they have been vindicated by this new discovery. Um, you know, the Knights Templar, their history is the stuff that legends and myths are made out of, and it lends itself to a lot of conspiracy theories. So over the years, we've had to bear with these Freemasonic pretenders, and we've had to uh, bear with things like the Da Vinci Code from Dan Brown, which claimed that the Knights Templar had the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail was Saint Mary Magdalene, who was married to Jesus. All these blasphemies and sacrileges. But in reality, what we learned from the Shinon Parchment and Dr. Frale is that the Knights Templar were good Catholics, and that corruption has never been far from the history of the church. I mean, where grace abounds, there sin abounds. We usually say where sin abounds, grace abounds all the more, but unfortunately, we find ourselves under attack, and sometimes, very often, unfortunately, that attack is from within the church. So Jacques de Molay died a martyr. He didn't die for the Freemasonic faith. He died for his Catholic faith, and unfortunately, he was persecuted from within the church. And so we can. There's a lot we can learn from the Knights Templar, but it's not going to be the Freemasonic Gnostic nonsense. It's going to be the true secrets of the faith. And when I talk about secret, I don't really mean the secrets in which the Freemasons dabble, which are these ancient so-called mysteries of all the various religions of the world and all the pagan quote unquote wisdom of the ages that you only learn if you're part of the club. But rather, the secret I'm speaking about is the mysticism of the church. Uh, we believe in things that we cannot see, but which have been revealed to us, and which we partake of and experience through the sacramental signs that our Lord Himself has instituted. So, for example, at Easter time, I wrote about the mystery of faith, which is the Eucharist and our participation in the Eucharist, and it really is a mystery. We witness what our Lord does on our altars, and we are blown away, and we have access to Christ and His sacrifice and all of His graces in the Mass and in Holy Communion, and we don't fully understand what we are participating in, but we grow in our understanding as we learn our faith and we receive the Eucharist, and hopefully we grow in prayer and in holiness. And we know that the saints communing with our Lord did in fact grow in that knowledge which came not only from their mind learning things, but from their participation in the mysteries, their actually daily living out of the faith. So in the early church, there was the discipline of the secret. The catechumens only learned a certain amount about the sacraments, especially about the Eucharist. And so on the night of their baptism, they were fully introduced into the reality of the Eucharist. Then afterwards, their catechesis was continued so that they would come to understand more deeply the secrets, the mysticism of the faith. So what I thought I would do over the next few videos is talk about the secrets of the Templars, which again is not the Gnostic secrets of the Freemasons, but the things associated with their religious life and with their chivalry. And so there is something about the Knights Templar that is mysterious, and that thing is really the spirit of chivalry, spirit of Marian Chivalry. So I'll be talking about that over the next few videos. So as I speak about the secrets of the Knights Templar, the Catholic secrets of the Knights Templar, I'm going to be using several sources, and one of them is a book written recently by Barbara Frale, who's that Vatican historian who found the Shinon Parchment. She wrote a book called The Templars, The Secret History Revealed, and it's a rather sensational title and a sensational looking cover, but the actual content of the book is very well researched and sedate. It's not buying into all the conspiracy theories. She actually shows us that the Templars were basically good Catholics. And yet at the same time, she does indicate that there are some rather mysterious things about the Knights Templar that are interesting and that point us in a certain direction that I'll like to develop during these talks. The other source I'm going to be using is the work by Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, who helped to found the Knights Templar with Hugh de Payens, and it's called In Praise of the New Knighthood. He wrote this at the request of the first Grand Master of the Knights Templar, Hugh de Payens, and it's really a sort of spiritual exhortation and explanation of the ideals and spirituality and purpose of the Knights Templar. And I think from these two sources we can learn a lot about the spirit of Marian chivalry, the spirit of prayer translated into action. So what then are the real secrets of the Knights Templar? Well, that's the whole question, isn't it? For now, I'll just say that the secrets are about certain relics associated with the Templars, and the first being the temple itself where they resided and from which they take their name. The second being the two swords that St. Bernard talks about in his letter to the Knights Templar. The third being the Holy Grail, which really does have something to do with the Knights Templar. That's one of those mysteries that really has some validity. And fourthly, the Holy Sepulchre, where all the Crusaders put their heart. They went to the Holy Land in order to visit the Holy Sepulchre and to protect it and to make the way there for the Christian pilgrims free and safe. So we'll be talking about those relics and the secrets associated with them in the next episodes of Standing Fast. God bless you, and Ave Maria.
Ad Iesu